11 to 2263. A novel is a speculative, dystopian, time-bending work by famed American bestseller Stephen King. First released in 2011, it earned the 2011 Los Angeles Times Book Prize for Best Mystery Thriller and the 2012 International Thriller Writers Award for Best Novel. In 2016, J.J. Abrams adapted it into an 8-episode miniseries featuring James Franco. The story follows Jake Epping as he wrestles with the discovery that he can alter history by preventing the assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Yet every alteration of the timeline ripples outward with grim and violent consequences. Jake, a divorced English teacher in Maine, learns from local diner owner Al Templeton about a time portal, the Rabbit Hole, hidden in the storeroom, leading directly to 1958. Al realizes that someone could reshape the past with knowledge from 2011 and access to that portal, and he becomes fixated on the murder of President Kennedy. While observing Lee Harvey Oswald in an effort to determine whether he acted alone in November 1963, Al develops fatal lung cancer. He asks Jake to take up the mission of stopping Kennedy's assassination. Jake insists on testing whether altering the past will create disastrous effects on the future. He returns to stop a brutal attack on the Dunning family that originally happened on Halloween 1958. After re-entering the Rabbit Hole, he rents a modest apartment in Derry and observes Frank Dunning from afar. On Halloween night, Jake intervenes and, despite complications, saves most of the family. When he comes back to the future, he discovers no catastrophic fallout from his interference and resolves to continue Al's plan to save President Kennedy. Jake travels back to 1958 once more, drives south, and settles temporarily in Florida. Eventually, he moves on to Dallas, only to find himself uneasy in the city. Realizing he need not remain near Dallas immediately, he drives farther south and discovers the small town of Jody, which feels welcoming and familiar. Jake rents a house and begins substitute teaching at the local high school. Soon afterward, he meets Sadie Dunhill, a recently separated librarian. But the fabrications Jake must maintain and the gaps in his invented past begin to strain their relationship. Sadie ends things, and Jake returns to the Dallas area to monitor Lee Harvey Oswald more closely. Al had never been able to confirm whether Lee Harvey was the lone gunman in Kennedy's assassination. However, he believed that if Oswald acted alone during the April 1963 attempt on General Edwin Walker, then it would confirm he also acted alone in killing Kennedy. Jake therefore decides to observe the Walker shooting, intending to eliminate Oswald if he indeed operates solo. On the day of the Walker attempt, Jake prepares to leave when the phone rings. Sadie's ex-husband Johnny has taken her hostage and intends to kill her. Jake rushes back to Jody, calling his friend Deke Simmons along the way. Together they rescue Sadie, but they cannot prevent Johnny's suicide nor the devastating slash that scars Sadie's cheek. Jake moves in with her as she heals. Mounting medical bills and rising expenses force Jake to place a major bet using his knowledge of future events to avoid going broke. He recalls a prize fight Al recorded in his notebook. Though Jake wins, he is savagely beaten by a local bookie. Weeks pass before he recovers, and when he finally does, he suffers from amnesia. Sadie urges him to remember the identity of the man who plans to kill the president. No matter how hard he tries, the name refuses to surface. Only days before the assassination, Jake remembers Al's notebook. Retrieving it from the bank restores his memory. On November 21st, Jake leaves the assisted living facility where he has been staying and returns to Mercedes Street, across from the Oswald residence. On the morning of November 22nd, he wakes to find Sadie beside him. She insists on accompanying him because he is still weakened from his injuries, and Jake reluctantly agrees. The pair encounter multiple setbacks on the road to Dallas. At the Texas School Book Depository, they race upstairs and confront Oswald. When Jake attempts to kill him, Lee Harvey accidentally shoots and kills Sadie instead. Police below, alerted by the lone shot, respond and kill Oswald. Jake is taken to the Dallas Police Department and interrogated by a detective and an FBI agent. Before he is transferred to the Adolphus Hotel, President Kennedy personally calls him. At the hotel, the FBI agent explains that the Bureau wants Jake to disappear. He flees, traveling by Greyhound buses for 5 days back to Maine. The world he returns to through the rabbit hole in 2011 is drastically altered. Jake discovers that since 1963, massive natural disasters have occurred and nuclear weapons have become commonplace in warfare. Horrified by the consequences of his intervention, he re-enters the rabbit hole, resetting the past and restoring the future. Yet he hesitates to return to 2011 because part of him longs desperately for Sadie. After much internal struggle, he finally returns. Jake relocates to Massachusetts and remains there for several years. He searches for Sadie online and discovers she is still alive. Jake travels to Jody and encounters an 80-year-old Sadie being honored as Citizen of the Century. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe.